Let the fans take the wheel on live frequency live.
Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome to Live Frequency. I'm your host, Ray. How's everyone doing today? With us today, we've got our guest. We've got Marco, who's going to go ahead and tell us all about his project. But before he does that, how's it going, Marco?
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Just trying to fiddle with the phone to get the Twitch kind of working over there. Yep, just
Yeah,
let you know.
no worries.
It's got that delay that
It does.
you spoke about.
It does
That's
a
all
little
good.
bit. So we've got Marco here with us all the way from New Zealand. This is actually, I have to say, kind of exciting that I'm in Canada and I've managed to somewhat, I guess, cross the ocean. I know that it's virtual and whatever, but still kind of nifty. Just before we get Marco involved, I do want to go over some of the highlights of the project. So, of course, just keeping in mind that there will be some links in the chat throughout the event. There is one, should you wish to donate to the channel, feel free. There is a donate link where you can use credit cards through Stripe. You can also use e-transfers, and there is an email address that will populate, but that email address is livefrequencyinfo@gmail.com. If you don't trust banks but still want to help the channel, that's absolutely fine as well. We do have a Amazon gift list that you can go to, and that link will also show up as well. Throughout the event, we're also going to be polling for genre. We're not going to do vocal styles today because we've got a little surprise planned. But we will still need genre, instruments, and a topic. So, without further ado, Sarah says hello, and I want to say hello back to Sarah. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Sarah.
And let's go ahead. So, Marco, now you've got quite an intricate setup here. We were obviously discussing this a little bit before the show and throughout the last little bit as we were getting everything ready for the show. But before, I guess we should probably start with a little background on why you decided to join the AI music, I guess, community. What led you to it, and how do you kind of go about it, and why AI music of all things, and what kind of project, what concepts and projects have you been working on?
Yeah, no worries. We can go through it. So yeah, I got into it somewhat late last year, 2025. I heard about it through, I guess, social media, through YouTube. Saw Suno popping up on different video feeds, and I heard one song. I can't remember the exact song's name, but they were going through some podcast about AI music, and I was pretty much blown away. I didn't know AI could do that yet. I always thought it was going to be robotic sounds. I mean, I don't know what I used to hear, like weird robotic sounds, and then I actually heard that you have technology that could actually replicate voices and do beats really, really well. And I was really intrigued, and I thought, hey, I've got a lot of poems that I wrote. I've got like a poem bank that I wrote 25 years ago, and I've been writing. I kind of stopped writing because a lot of the poems that I wrote back in the day was when I wasn't in a good space mentally. So it was kind of interesting sifting through some of my poems. Found it in drawers and found some posted on my hard drives and stuff. And I kind of was sifting through that, and I thought, all right, this is cool technology that could bring it to life. And I got all these poems that I wrote, different parts of my life. And I thought, why not actually do something with it? It's just been sitting there doing nothing. So that's when I started playing around with, free versions of ChatGPT as well. And I pretty much plugged in my poem, and I said, I kind of want to make a song with this. What can we do? So, and then coming up with some lyrics. I don't know if it was fully the best lyrics in the world, but it for me it was something based off my poems originally, right? Initially,
Right.
and then created some songs with it based on some of my old poetry, different styles, probably like more. First started off more rock type style, electro rock, and slowly progressed into a bit of like trip hop sounds. So I've always been a bit of a mix between the hip hop, trip hop style of music. Personally, I like all music. I like opera, I like Japanese. I used to watch a lot of anime as a kid, so I got a lot of
Nice.
Japanese interests that the culture and all that interests me as well. Um, and Yeah, so I started playing around. I was did my first album. I think it was what was it called again? Rise Again or Rise Again, which was all about rising through adversity, getting out of that bad space. You were coming out of a bad space into a better space in life, and then so I kind of worked out a charter for the first couple albums I was going to look at. So I was figuring out what did I want to get out of all my albums. So I had a plan on these are all the lyrics and these are all the poems I'm going to start doing for this album, this album, to try and tell that story of rising above a bad era part of my life into a better part of my life, which ends up getting married with kids, family, and all that. So my first couple of albums was kind of like showing that natural progression and using Suno to help charter that natural progression as well. And then I
Nice.
started jumping into other different things, not necessarily poetry. I started exploring writing narration and stories, and started with this new storyline called Captured Worlds, which is a whole new sci-fi story because I really love sci-fi. So I started moving into that style of writing. It's not it's there's a lot more words in this style because I got so much thoughts around storyline that I need to get across, but the lyrics, it's hard to get across a huge multi-world series in my head in a bit of music and lyrics. It's very challenging. Yeah, so that's when I started playing with other media, such as ChatGPT image generation, Midjourney image generation, and animation to try and help connect the dots. So I don't just do it via music. I start exploring with all these other AI tools as well to help tell that story.
Nice. That
Yeah,
definitely explains, I think, a lot because you said you enjoy all types of music. So I do want to say we've got some Quado music that we've been pulling for at this point, electro pop, hip hop, electro pop, and also Afro futuristic electronic influences. Now I do want to say that Quado did win the polls. So it looks like we'll be doing a Quado song, which, if I'm not mistaken, that is like South African, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a South African style of rap hip hop. So the reason why I chose those styles because the next natural segment of my storyline, um, I've released on all the streaming services, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 of a storyline that's mainly based in space, but then I'm moving everything back to try and build up the narration before all of that. So I'm going back to planet Earth, and focusing on backstory instead of the future stories. I'm literally going back more backstory to my story, or Captured Worlds. And one of the main new story arcs that I'm looking at is building up this. It's called the United African Federation. I don't know if we want to jump straight into talking about Captured Worlds right now, but essentially that album is trying to explain that storyline there. It's a whole prequel to volume 1, 2, and 3 to try and explain a bit of the story, some of the characters that might be represented in my main storyline. Specifically, Zuri is the main character in Captured Worlds storyline that's introduced, I think, in volume 2. And expanded on in volume 3, and then I'm trying to explain her backstory, back where she comes from, on planet Earth in a totally different world, thousands and thousands of years into the future, where you have two super states, unified planetary states up on the top, and then you have United African Federation down the bottom, which is a combination of essentially America, South America, and half of Africa have become one super state, and then the other state is UPS on the top, and it all came
Nice.
about from something called the Northern Impact, which was a big impact on Earth, which changed the trajectory of our evolution and introduced some psionic abilities because of migration pressures and all that. So that's that story. I've also been working with another creative, Fractal Minds. He's on Instagram. I don't know if you wanted to. We could also show a quick little video. He's been working on a video series. I'm collaborating with him on
Yeah.
the video series.
Fractal Minds, actually, speaking of which, is now following the channel, so I do want to thank you there, Fractal Minds. Yes,
Hi.
actually, we could show the little video. Bear with me here. He's on Instagram, right? I just created an Instagram account today. I know I'm late to the party, but let me go ahead and get logged in.
So these are the two videos I collaborated with my friend. I don't know. We can. You want to review both? They're both very short.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm down for it. Is there any context we need to know before I play this, or?
It's just showing you Oasis City, which is a city inside the world of the UAF territory. So the next album I'm working on is pretty much based on events within the city and different characters within the city and the dynamics of the city life. And this one and that video just kind of it shows you a bit of a soundtrack I will probably publish sometime after this stream as well that I was working on. Related to the sound profile that we're going to work on today and play around with as well. I just played around with one. I didn't play around too much, but I played around with this one. And the sound profile uses my custom model that I created in Suno as well. It's about, I think it's like a 40-second or so video.
While I'm going to go ahead and play that. While I do, I just want to let everybody know that we are going to start streaming for additional instruments that anybody may want to add. So that poll is now open.
Is there sound?
Yes, sir.
There should be sound.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's pretty much that short little video. It tries to show you the world of the UAF territory, Oasis City. It's based off almost like an MRT type railway network system.
Yeah. That's the music is good, but the visuals are pretty astonishing. That was Fractal Minds. Is that who created that video?
Yeah, Fractal Minds, a friend of mine, also based in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's nice. This is Mika, right? So this is the
Mika.
voice sample that you had sent me that we're going to try and use later on, right?
Yeah. So she's an android robot. She's into rock music, bit of dry humor that she projects. And I try to get that across with some of the songs that I've released recently. I like to change it up. I always want to change it up. And the way I can change it up is I naturally have a mechanism to do that because I can introduce a different character in my story arc, and it gives me a way to change my songs a bit. So I can change it based on scenery, and I can change it based on character. So it gives me a utility function to change the style. So I don't use the same style all the time. I always want to keep it fresh and changing, and this is the way I can do it with this big world that I've built. And she serves a purpose to give that dry humor, approach, rock dry humor approach.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and see what this video is about. I'm curious. Okay.
So they're short snippets,
Nice.
not
Yeah.
huge length.
No, but still, the continuity of it is so nice. Like that's got to be something to be left admired there for sure. Um, that's it gives me a little Back to the Future vibe there when they're plugging into the big amp. I just expected her to strum and get thrown back,
Uh,
but all right. And it looks like for instruments, I think we had a bit of a tie. I can't see the whole thing. Hold on a second. I gotta check on the stream here. It looks like we've got for on Twitch, we had so Marimba got 2 votes on Twitch. And on Kick, we had a marimba cello. So 1 vote for cello, 3 for marimba. So I guess we're going marimba.
let's play around and see what we get with these
Yeah,
instruments.
sometimes it works really well. If you choose indie music and flute, Suno will be all over that like a fly on on feces. Because it just loves it. Not that I didn't like it by any means, but I always go back and play with them later on and kind of try to twist them a little bit more to my style a bit and then kind of remix them. But it really loved the flute. It had flute in every moment that it could. I got it to kind of tone it down a little bit and add it a little more. So I think it depends because then I've had times where it's like I'm trying to add like synthesizer. And when I think synth, I really think like Van Halen, like Jump. You know what I mean? That analog synth sound. But I found Suno to struggle with that. But then if I use like Hammond organ or I tell it to synth a certain variation, for instance, if I wanted to synthesize like a brass orchestra type thing, then it was able to do that. So it's going to be a little bit, we might have to play with it and see where it goes, but I think overall it's definitely going to be interesting. Now I'm not familiar with is it Kato or do you pronounce the W?
Quito.
Quito. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to Quito all day every day. I just know I like it, and it's from got some South African roots, and I'm originally from South Africa,
Yep.
so I wanted to include something related to that.
Yeah.
The
No,
only
that's fair.
only yeah, I'm not 100% sure of all the different Quito music there is.
Okay.
Kwaito is characterized by a slow tempo. The genre is distinguished by its prominent synthesized bass lines and songs often features a funky melodic quality. Drum patterns in Kwaito are influenced by house music, however, are executed with a more relaxed approach. So yeah,
It's
just
almost like a house kind of rap.
yeah.
I'm interested. It's intriguing.
We'll come up with something. We'll come up
Yeah,
with something
yeah,
good.
exactly. We'll see what happens. I mean, it may go completely sideways, but we won't know until we try it. So we'll go with that. Did you want to play a song to show a little bit of the evolution process? Because we've got a whole model that we're going to be showing later that's a little bit more of your style. But do you have any of your earlier stuff that you want to play at this time? I'm going to give you
Yeah,
a
I'm happy to
playlist here, but we
play
can.
play the first song on that. So Pulse of Defiance was one of my tracks that I created on the first album I created. So the first album was Rise Again. It was pretty much split between more rock ballad type, and then
Mhm.
I changed it up halfway to be more rap, which kind of like is kind of like my style these days. Used to be like I used to listen to Marilyn Manson and all that stuff back in the day, and then I kind of slowly bridged out to anything and everything. Um, so Pulse of
Nice.
Defiance is kind of like just so that if you got an issue in life, let's break through it. It's based off an old poem that I rewrote to be a bit more.
Let's see.
The system weighs us down. Shadows grow, but we rise through the cracks, letting light show. Bitterness spins, tension in the air. Stand for truth and take the dare. Let go of what no longer serves. Lift the things you love, reclaim your nerve. Challenge the leader, once revered. Show the world your courage, undeterred.
Break the system that holds us. Rise for a redeemer. Spark the focus. Shatter the walls. Defy the lies. Claim the future where freedom flies.
Westward we march, horizons wide. No more fear, no need to hide. Oppressive grips, riddles in the dark. We carve our path, ignite the spark. They see our strength, not just our pain. We move together through the rain. Heartbreak may linger, control may bend, but we rise stronger toward the end.
Break the system that holds us. Rise for a redeemer. Spark the focus. Shatter the walls. Defy the lies. Claim the future where freedom flies.
Lawless action, courage in our hands, seize controlled lives. We take a stand, answers come from the choices we make. Hope in the dark, a path we stake.
Rancor fades, the pain transforms, guilt release, new strength is born. The future we shape in our own hands, a horizon ahead where freedom
Nice.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's good for old stuff, right? In all fairness.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well when I did create it. And it had a bit of a message, behind it.
Yeah.
So something that I pulled out. I think the original poem was a bit more negative, so I kind of spiced it up a bit. But yeah, when I wrote that, well, when I was doing that, going back and forth with ChatGPT, I didn't have a lot of skills with ChatGPT and call it remastering and reconfiguring my poems. So
Mhm.
there's stuff that came about in there that a lot of that album, the original album that I created, annoyed me because when I started, a lot of the tracks I did in isolation, one after the other, and then after I did it, I was like, oh, that's a really good song. Oh, that's another really good song. And then I would keep it. And then at the end, when I started listening to the album, the whole album, I was just picking up certain words and phrases that ChatGPT must have chucked in there that I didn't realize at the time is just the normal things that when you don't have a proper model or governance and understand what you get in with ChatGPT's involvement for helping you write stuff,
Yeah.
you start seeing the same repeated patterns across everything.
Yeah.
And
Neat
that
on.
frustrated me a lot about that whole album, which I still want to in the future with my new knowledge and my new approach, redo that everything, do my poem more justice. my poems a bit more justice. Because I mean, the songs were good and I like the output, but I just saw similar patterns through arising. The biggest one is the word chains, which I saw and I was like, damn it, chains again, chains again. The word chains just I kept seeing the damn word chain. Um, so yeah, that's the one thing I want to do is redo that whole album at some point with my new workflow and design and just revisit all the lyrics essentially. And
No, that's fair. Because yeah, it will do that. Neon is another one of those words. I think we had discussed glass and door tend to be the very similar words that it will keep reusing as well.
your shadow. There's a whole
Yeah,
bunch of words which I know now whenever I see it. I'm like, sometimes I stylistically just leave it because the actual song is not worth re-rendering. So sometimes you got diminishing returns and you just have to accept that there's no point in regenerating for one little thing. And
yeah,
unless you got, I personally don't have the ability and skills. I'm not versed enough in that. I don't know how you pronounce it. Dao.
DAW. Yeah,
I,
a DAW sometimes is not always your best bet either. I mean, it's good if you want to mess with your treble, your bass, and maybe your stem like sound levels and such. You know what I mean? You want the bass a little more punchy here or that kind of thing. But I find Suno, unless you're willing to go through the trouble of finding out what the chord progression is and then being able to re-enter the chord progression into your prompt, there's always such a chance that it's going to spit you out something different. And also I find there is that replace feature. I can't remember exactly where it's at. And we might look at it when we get into Suno afterwards, but like you can replace certain parts of songs, but I find sometimes it will
I,
change a whole section and then now you're kind of losing continuity in a way that it's almost like introducing it, like it's almost like it's inputting like a bridge or some form of a breakdown that maybe you didn't want, because again when it restructures it with the new lyric or the new thing that you wanted, it's not always 100%. And so yeah, you got to reach a point where eventually you're just kind of like, this is going to be good enough. Yeah.
yeah, like now I try when I first did my lyrics and stuff that I added to the song, I'd be like, oh, here's a draft lyrics. It's more or less what I want. I'll play it with Suno and then I'll get a really great sound. And I'm like, I listen to it, and then I was like, wait, I need to change this. I need to change this in the lyrics. I need to change this in the lyrics. But by that time, you've really got a really good song,
Hmm.
and it's hard to fix it. So I've now learned to. That's why I've started doing the governance model to get the song as good as it can be before I do the initial generation. So
Yeah.
that's important for me to not get into that problem, because what I found, I could get a good generation if I am changing a word here or a word there and try and keep the vowels and stuff, try and make the word replacement sound very similar to the original one.
Yep.
You know, that kind of works still. Not change the whole flow up to something totally not what I want. But I think getting the design of the lyrics right from the outset is important.
Nope, that's fair. And that brings me, hang on one second. I just want to put in there that if anybody in the chat has a topic for me and Mark to write about later, we'll show a little bit of how that model works, and such. And you'll see there's a whole flowchart to this. But please feel free to mark it in the chat. And I'm going to ask if Sarah can just keep track of any suggestions on topics that are flowing into the chat, or if anybody wants to come up with anything. We're going to need a topic. It can be any topic. That's the whole point of the challenge. And we kind of want to show how that little magical model essentially works. We're not going to give all the secrets away, but it's kind of how it sorts out a lot of those little words and little things. So it's really cool. It can be any type of topic. But that brings me on the next topic I think that we had discussed. So I know I myself am a guitarist. Actually, behind my monitor here, there's two guitars and a bass. I got an acoustic electric, and then I've got a bass guitar. My big problem is I don't have a band, nor do I have space to rehearse with a band. And so that brings me to when I started getting into Suno because I thought it was really cool. I know chord progressions, I can figure out chord progressions, and then I could write and I could tell Suno, hey, keep it in this key with this progression and that sort of thing, right? But so I always kind of considered myself to still be somewhat of a musician, and have a bit of that, I guess, organic, traditional sort of songwriting. But you have a completely different approach where you use ChatGPT, you converse with it, you've got this flow. Would you still consider yourself a musician at that point, or are you strictly more moving towards I'm really just a producer and I'm gonna make it sound the way I want it to sound, but you've completely, I guess,
Yeah,
admitted that,
yeah.
ChatGPT and Suno are going to be your musicians and you're just going to direct them.
So I don't want to classify myself as a musician. I say creative. I like to call myself a creative or AI creative. What I'm doing is not just music. I'm trying to do the visuals as well. So
Yep.
I got my got Suno, ChatGPT, Midjourney, using all those tools to do what I try and bring to life what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah.
I'm quite a creative person, so creative sounds about right.
Good.
And I love music. Who doesn't love music? And if I can bring something to life and I love what I'm hearing, it makes me happy. The output of Suno and just doing this stuff does make me happy.
That's
I
good.
get really happy when I get a good song. My wife, gets a bit tired of every time I come up to her and I say, "Oh, look, listen to this new song. Look at this, listen to this new song." I keep doing it, and she's like, "Oh, that's a really good song. It's a good song." But I think she's
Yours too,
also
eh?
just
Yeah.
yeah, because I've always got a new melody beat or something out, and I want to show my wife, and she's well, her and my kids are my number one fans. They love listening to my music and my songs. But yeah,
So,
I don't class myself as a musician, even though I write, poetry and I do
mhm.
creative writing,
Yep.
creative.
Yeah, yeah.
Just use the tool
Yeah.
that I can to get across my ideas and thoughts of my creativity. So it doesn't just stay stuck in a drawer if it's the poem, or it doesn't stay stuck in my head as an idea. I can actually share it to people.
No, that's fair. I really like that answer actually, and I know we hadn't really discussed it, but I kind of wanted to bring that in because again, that's kind of a lot of the hate where people think that it's like we're just going to Suno, we're just generating rock love song, enter, and then whatever comes out is what we have, and we're gonna be all like, "Oh, check this out," right?
Just that the different ways you can use the tools, right? You can use it in that simplistic way, and then you have
Mhm.
big shots and musicians. I kind of like I left all those Suno groups because I didn't want to see the hate anymore.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there is creative thought behind some of this behind the stuff. Not everyone is the same person, and you can't just fit everyone into someone just clicks a button to create something and no thought goes behind it. There's different levels. Just like I'm sure yeah, there's different levels in yeah. I don't want to jump into actual musicians, and I'm sure different musicians have different levels of how they output something as well. That are proper musicians, but they rely on their producer to do almost everything for them, or they rely on shadow songwriters to write all their lyrics. Or they relies on these funny, what is it called, synthesizer or something that changes their voice, or
auto
autotune,
tune.
all these
Yeah,
things. Uh, that was not an issue then, you know. But I see there's lots of hate towards people that use Suno and stuff. I don't know if they see it as a threat and all that. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
But that does
I don't
also
know either.
it does tie also into like if music is your job versus your hobby, like I don't know
Right?
what fits a musician. Is it a hobby or is it a way to make money? Like there's those two, and how do you find a balance between those two? For me, I mean, I looked at the because I've published my music on the streaming services via Discord. Compare what I've earned for stream listens. I think I've earned like $6. I think
Oh,
I've spent probably like
yeah.
well over 1,000, 2,000. It's not something I'm making money off. Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
at
Nope,
all.
exactly.
Like
Fair.
it's something that I love as a hobby and I enjoy it. It's not to make money, but of course you do. There is people that's make the AI music and they got like a million listens and they're making money off it. I don't know how, but somehow they've got a big marketing campaign to push it out. But that's
Right.
not me. I just want my
They found the secret, I guess.
yeah. And for me, I'm putting it on these platforms. Again, people don't. I'm not opposed to having some toggle switch that says no AI in your search results and so on. I'm not opposed to that. I'm putting it on these platforms so my wife and kids can listen to it because they're not going to download Suno and all that. That's you know,
Yep. Yeah.
it's an easier.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's easier to get it to other people to listen to if I can publish it in these platforms. It's harder to get someone to download a whole new platform and
Yeah. Nope, that's fair. That's fair. Um, no, that's actually a great answer. You know, but that does remind me there is a lot actually in those Facebook groups and those groups. There's a lot going on. So I did actually start something. So for anybody who's interested, who is a creator and such, I absolutely love it because I'm trying to keep it BS free. If you do go to the Discord server, which the link does pop up, if not, I think you can put in the chat, if you just put hashtag disc, I think it populates the link there. Yep. And then you can go there. I did start different genre channels based on what I was seeing on social media is everybody's just plastering their music. And again, like I mean, some of it is slop and some of it does have actual thought process put behind it and work put behind it. But I find it kind of got lost in and pardon, I know it's a popular word, but kind of lost in the shadows or in the noise. So on Discord, I actually started the server, and in there, I've got genre specific channels that you can post your music in. So if you want to listen to rock, you go to the rock channel. It's all, or at least should all be rock music. I got jazz, I got funk, I got country, right? So I'm hoping to kind of try and classify it a little bit for people to find that music, or at least maybe a little easier to find. And you can put your Spotify links or whatever in there as well. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there if anybody is listening that is wondering, right? Because again, there's a lot. I mean, you post something on Facebook and you may get somebody who's just flat out making fun of you or whatever. And I think that's not the goal of this, right? Because again, like we're talking about, right? I mean, some people do try to make money off of it. That's great, but for some people, it's really just a hobby, and it's just something where they're like, "Ah, this sounds pretty good, and it's kind of catchy, and I want other people to kind of listen to it." So yeah, just know, bring it on down to this Discord server. If you need a channel, message me. I will put a channel if I'm missing a genre. I had a country song sitting in my bucket forever. I think I just created a country link today or a channel today. So I'm a little behind there, but I am trying. Um, should we show that model that you sent me that kind of goes through everything and then
is
we
that
can kind of prep
yeah?
into showing how you kind of do it and how your music evolved from what we listened to what we are about to
Yeah,
listen to?
is that one of the PDF images? I'm not too sure what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can
Um,
bring something up on screen. I'm not.
I honestly did not think I was going to need just a screen, but I'm telling you, Mark, you took me for a spin.
All right.
So you're really testing my IT skills today. So here we've got Until Thought Obeys. So this, yeah, when I saw this, I thought that was kind of, I didn't even realize this was a thing at first, and I started going through it, and I got really, but
Yeah, so it's essentially I have an idea in my head, story, a part of the narration of my story,
mhm.
and I just free flow the concept into the model. it just came up with some ideas. I didn't really have lyrics, but I just came up with some ideas, and I kind of just free chatting the ideas, brain dumping into ChatGPT
Yeah.
ideas.
So
And then I
that
kind of made a song out of it.
so this yeah, exactly. So this is what it is. So you tell it your idea, and we're going to show a bit of that later as well. Then the model comes back. It asks any suggestions that you want, or at least it gives you an output. But it also gives you the opportunity to accept or reject certain parts of that output, to which
Yep.
it will then revise all the changes that need to be made. And I do have to say, with the little trial that we did earlier, I tried to kind of send it sideways, and it keeps track pretty good. I have to say, ChatGPT does pretty good at keeping track of things. Um, but and then it will give you a score. Now that score, obviously, the one we have is a little bit different, and that's where your magic kind of comes in. But so that score, according to my understanding, just make sure that I'm saying this right, it's your reality score, right? Is that kind of what you compare it to? It's what makes it like sound as organic as possible. So that's where we
Yeah, like
remove all those weird
there's
like
different.
glass words and
There's,
shadow and chains. And
yeah, so I got in my model, I got banned words that I cannot use.
But even then, when you get to the end here, technically it does a check. But if you want to, you can keep that chat going by feeding it another idea and then re-go through the entire process until finally you're satisfied with what you have.
Yeah, and the more you feed it, the higher you could have. You can higher your score here. Like, if you get 1 out of 7, it's AI. You could say it's towards AI slop. You just said, make me a happy music.
So speaking of that model, did you share a song about that's a little bit
Plus,
further down the line for that model?
yeah, for that song, yeah, down the bottom. Now, saying that again, just preface, this song is not like poetry, and it's very different, right?
No, yeah,
So
this was strictly all generated with AI, just you communicating with it, right? If I'm
yeah, and this
understanding.
was not based on a huge. Essentially, there's a 27 motif delivery here that I wanted to, and the backstory is that Alisara, which is in my story, was 27 years old when she left Earth, and she was, and Renmore used to be in her band back in the day. So I'm trying to like put all these little secret things in my story as well, and
Gotcha.
and yeah, this is pretty much him and his training his mind. So it's different style of Renmore in itself is experimenting. It's my experimental character, new metal, turntables and stuff like that. Like it's a different style.
Nice. Nice. We'll go ahead and we'll listen to that. So we've kind of had, right? So the first one we listened to was very poetry based, where you had ChatGPT kind of help you direct the poetry a little to put it more in song lyric form, and then you kind of brought it into Suno that way. And then this one here is really you conversing with ChatGPT, having kind of an idea in mind and developing that
And this
idea.
and this idea was very loose, if I can preface. This wasn't not a fully thought. I was organically coming up with stuff as I was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I kind of try to bring it together in the song.
No, that's fair. Let's go ahead. We'll listen to Until Thought Obeys. Here we go.
To the what fucking tip around the knuckles. Wide enough. Left foot set, shoulder square, begin. Step, pivot, strike, hold, reset, again. Palm meets the post, too wide, adjust again. Heel turns better. Cargo traffic somewhere in the distance, ignore it again. Yo, old Grip channel still there, less activity on record. No announcement, no grand farewell, people drift, plans get revised. Center line slipping, corrective, strike. Step, step, pivot, pivot, strike, strike, hold, hold, reset, reset, again, again. One report says one thing, another says the opposite. A third arrives before either settles. Rumors traveling faster than facts. Too much noise, refocus. Step left, dip low, turn sharp, check high. Shift weight, strike clean, close distance. Recover, guard ribs, cut angle. Drop shoulder, rise steady. Land hard, reset stance. Forearm burn and expect to continue. A commentator discussing expansion, another discussing control, another discussing opportunity. Same discussion, different suit. Read an article about guys and closed it, opened it later. Still gathering pieces, still incomplete. Way too far forward. Recover, strike, step, step, pivot, pivot, strike, strike, hold, hold, reset, reset, again, again. Knee print in the mat. Tape pulling at the knuckles. Post grain under the palm. Somewhere contracts change ownership. Somewhere departure dates arrive. Not here, not now. Palm meets the post. Again, again. Left, dip low, turn sharp, check high, shift weight, strike clean, close distance, recover, guard rims, cut angle, drop shoulder, rise steady, land hard, reset stance. The discussions continue, the rumors continue, the speculation continues. The stance breaks, fix it, the timing slips, fix it, the balance goes, fix it. One adjustment, then another. Then another, until movement settles, until thought obeys. Step, step, pivot, pivot, strike, strike, hold, reset, reset, again, again. Begin, the knuckles, the boat's still standing. One more repetition, begin.
That was, I mean, it was different, don't get me wrong. It was definitely different from the first
Yeah.
one. But again, I mean, it's kind of, it still has that, like your model works. Clearly your model works, right? Because it doesn't have that AI slop at all, right? Like it's definitely sets out to do what it's supposed to do, right? And a lot of people go through a lot of trouble trying to write these lyrics themselves and that kind of thing, right? And it's like you're just having a chat.
I'm just having a chat, brainstorming, brain dumping, and then I'm brain dumping, and literally the song is essentially a brain dumping song because the song is him training his mind, but he's got all these things pulling into his mind that he's thinking about within my world. It's just coming through, and he just keeps thinking, but he's like, oh, I got to keep training to try and focus, keep focus, and then he's repeating the action, and that kind of also ties into my loop video because it's looping because he's repeating. So there's like that thing there, and there's hidden messages in it. So so it was a very interesting way to write that song.
Sarah says that you're highly responsible for her walks being over 12,000 steps per day. So
well, that's good. I've started doing tons of walking because I've lost nearly 20 kgs this year so far.
That's divided by 2.2 for you, Sarah. No.
Yeah, no, walk in. I recommend walk in. It's good. And I listen to sometimes I listen to, I kid you not, I actually am generating music while I'm walking. I, I don't even know if that song might have had one of the generations while I was doing my walk for an hour.
Nice, nice.
I click
Just
generate
chatting
walk,
while you're
click,
doing it. Yeah,
and then I get back to my desktop, whatever, and just kind of like fiddle with it. Just try to.
nice. That's awesome. Um, yeah, Sarah says it's more dance. Yeah, definitely. I could see where that would come into play. I got to get back into walking, to be honest. I miss it a little bit. So I probably could lose a couple kgs myself. Sarah, did we have any topics that came up? Anybody have any topics on what we're going to write about? Technically, what I'm thinking at this point, I do have a question that I want to ask you. Vesper suggested Firewall Heart. That sounds like a title. Or Machine Memory. Oh, Machine Memory, I guess, would be fitting. We could go with Machine Memory. I like that. What do you think about that one? I don't even know if that would be a
Yeah,
topic per se, but we'll see what happens. I guess that's
this
the
is a
whole
topic
point
for
of
the song
yeah.
or a
We'll go with that. Machine Memory, I like it. Machine Memory or Firewall Heart? Which one do you think we should go with? Firewall Heart sounds more like a title, but we could probably use it. Whereas Machine Memory sounds more like an actual
I mean,
topic that we can spitball, but
yeah, machine memory. I get electro rock and when I'm hearing that name, machine memory. But was that probably because
yeah.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
no,
machine
we got to
memory.
do it in Quado, so
I mean, machine memory. We can make it work.
yeah.
I like it.
It's fitting considering that we are using Mika's voice, who is an android, so I think it'll be good if we spit it out in her perception.
It's quite funny. A backstory with Mika is I actually created a memory rule set with a whole bunch of stuff to do with Mika's personality, and I somehow saved it into my ChatGPT, and she keeps popping up when I don't want her to. I need to turn her off because half my replies are like sassy. I'm like, kind
Nice.
of turn off. I can't turn her off. I don't know. I need to like fiddle around with where she's saved in my memory because she's. I got a Mika Lite version saved for sassy, dry humor responses.
That's fair. That's funny, actually. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. And then we've got things to get ready. So what song would you like to play, Mark, while we just kind of get everything ready? Technically, what I want to do is I want to upload Mika's voice to Suno. And then after that, obviously, we'll get into the demonstrations and such. But is there a
Let's go with an instrumental, something different.
yeah? I'm good with that. Which
The
one?
second last one, Enter the Morin. So that instrumental is essentially about there's a portal that comes up in space near it's called Humanity's Zone of Influence. And the Morin, essentially what they do is they do portal transiting networks throughout, the solar. And that's the alien threat, essentially. I'll be expanding to in volume 4 and 5 of the album series, but I'm working backwards at the moment, trying to build a backstory before I go into that story. But Enter the Morin is when they come through the portals.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and we'll listen to Enter the Morin. Well, that's interesting. I think Sunos put
There's
a
some.
safeguard on voices.
I think I heard a lot of chatter about that. People are complaining about stuff upload
Yeah,
not working properly. The copyright hits them for their own personal stuff. I don't know if that's a bug at the moment. If it's not letting you do that, it might be a
right.
bug.
Well, yeah, it's just weird because it wants me to read this because it wants me to verify the voice. And I think that's
Oh,
what's
right.
happening, right? It's because I uploaded the file, so it wants me to upload to make sure that my voice is actually this, which of course it's not going to be.
Unless you
But
play it with your phone, but I don't know if that breaking the system.
yeah, the only thing is that because my microphone is being used through OBS to allow for the stream, it's not going to let me do it through here. But what I'm thinking is, can we upload an audio?
And create a. Oh, you need to. Oh, and use that audio file to help with the
Yeah.
next song.
So identify
Only issue with
audio
that.
contents.
Oh well, we didn't upload a whole song. It's just the vocal that you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
upload.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
wonder if
So
that
I'm
will help.
thinking it shouldn't interfere too much, but we'll try it and see what happens. Technically the voice is all we need. We'll see once it's done uploading here. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not 100% against the fact of this safeguarding because I think AI does need a little bit more checks and balances put into play so that people can't just use other people's stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
So
all
I'm
for it.
okay with it, right? It kind of bugs down a little bit, but I mean, like for you, I guess you have the original file, the original persona, so it's not so bad. But see, like this obviously prevents me. Like I have to go through a lot of hoops now to try and steal your ideas. So I guess it's not a bad thing, right? We got Grok
Yeah.
now who lets you upload an image and puts a bikini on everything. So it'd be nice if we could have a little more safeguards, I think, in some of that. Right, which kind of brings me to
Um,
my next. This is something I ask everyone, and I'm just curious as to what your thoughts on it are. But what kind of safeguards do you think we should have in play when it comes to AI so that people can't use it for deep fakes and that kind of stuff? What are your thoughts on that? All the deep fakes that go around where you've got Joe Rogan now advertising whatever kind of, itch
well,
cream or whatever that people can think of.
what's quite funny, the thing I'm seeing a lot now is yeah, with the whole alien thing. You don't know what like, for what 80 years you see kind of blurry images, and now you see in high definition images of some spacecraft in redone in 4K. I I don't fully believe that, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's a hot topic.
Well, that's the other
But now
thing too, right? But
is AI now is helping you take these blurry images and turn it into something like 4K, and did you prompt it to make it look like an alien ship when it was just a light? I don't know. Like it just adds this whole another layer of could be deception or misinformation and what people can do with that. Because
yeah,
I was quite funny. I like to play tricks on my mom quite a lot. We buy a lotto ticket quite often, so yeah, she always tells me scan the lotto ticket with your phone, please. So it gives me the ticket, I scan it. So I quickly uploaded the ticket with all the serial numbers into ChatGPT and said, change it to make us win $100,000. And then I gave it to my mom. I said, "Look, the serial numbers match. It's the same thing. We won. We won. We won." And I was like, "Oh no, it's only joking." She's like, "Are you serious? You serious? You're lying. You're lying." Uh, so it's just like so easy to do something like that, and people will believe it. Like I guess that's a
Mhm.
problem. I mean, but that's a small example. I don't. You're not going to stop people from doing that. But
No, but
like,
that one still has a check and a balance because yes, all right, you can fool somebody to think they won the lottery, but obviously when you bring that ticket to the lottery center, they're going to, you know, shatter the dream and be like, no, this isn't a winning ticket. Um, but when you look
yeah,
at it, the big ones that were going around, and even just a couple years ago, it was like Mr. Beast was going around promoting an app that he would give money for, and obviously it was all deep fake and whatnot. And even here in Canada, we had the Prime Minister at one point, Mark Carney, who was deep faked into saying like, you know what I mean, like promoting products and whatever else's, and
mm,
it's been kind of an issue, and I think that's definitely something we need to kind of lock down on a little bit. Um, there should be, I think, some sort of law that is if you're fooling people and you're not making it clear that it's AI. And now I'm talking about like you know what I mean different because the lottery ticket obviously has its own thing and
yeah.
there's a check because you got to cash that ticket in. But I'm thinking like, you know, those people that just use celebrities and then set up websites and then promote the website through a deep fake of a celebrity, like there should be some form of criminal check and
I, I,
balance, I
I
think, for that.
I do think so because you're going to get that the whole. It takes another example. It takes the whole idea of catfishing or all that stuff to a whole new level
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well, where you can just catfish some random character and you could have endless potential shots they could generate on the fly. Like,
Yeah,
and you could think this person is legit, and you can fall in love with this legit fake thing.
fake person. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, like it's so. But yeah, so I feel there needs to be some kind of safeguards. But again, how do you safeguard? Like with my image generation, I do get some prompts saying you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. A lot of the times.
Yeah.
Um, so there is some guardrails in there, but at the same time, it's not perfect because it's stopping you from doing something that I believe is nothing wrong. Yeah,
Yep.
especially if I'm trying to generate an image in my sci-fi world. I'm not. This is for my world. My context matters. I'm not trying to generate some character that's going to be used. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it will put the safeguards incorrectly, and then you got to try and. But at the same time, there's a ways around it where you can ask ChatGPT itself to rewrite the prompt to break your safeguard. So what's the point of the safeguard? you know, like just the other day, I haven't read all the news articles, but there's an AI tool called Anthropic, um, and they just, I think, with the government, work to put a ban on it with their Mythos and Fabled code because it's too powerful. I think it's a national security risk.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is movement towards that. I I feel there needs to be safeguards in place for the workplace. It shouldn't be the use case. We will streamline operations by uh, helping everyone's job and replacing you
Well,
with
and
an AI
that's
bot.
the other thing too, right? That's a whole other conversation, I guess, at that point. Like, yeah.
Because you'll save money, right? And you can optimize things, but you should always have an option to retrain employees into something else. So before AI, you had the concept of bots, where companies were moving their call centers, well, moving away from call centers because they would go offshore call centers to save money. Then they would remove the idea of offshore call centers because they want to save even more money, and we replace it with bots that talk to you
Hmm.
to try to resolve your problem. Now they're going to replace the bots with and inject it with AI.
Yeah.
So you're talking with completely fake people to try and solve your problem, and that custom experience, I never had a good custom experience talking to a bot to try and solve my problem. To be honest with you.
No, I can't stand it when it's on a website. and I have to try and go through it. Like Google, for instance, I think Google is pretty bad for that too. It's like you're trying to get a hold of somebody, and it's just bot after bot. YouTube is really bad for trying to get through. Yeah, that technology is not there yet. That's for sure. All right, so I did upload it. It looks like it's made a song. So let's hit play here and just kind of see what's coming up so we know what we're working with, and then we can move over to Chat GPT and get that going. But I feel like we should probably see what we're playing with, I guess.
Research log open.
It's just the audio, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Time
Okay.
18:06. Kai, us arrived early.
Okay. So it probably is that it is just kind of keeping the I guess the metadata, but all we uploaded was the actual music. So if we cover that, it should work. If we input new lyrics and a new style, and we take down the I think style influence.
Would audio need to be up, I would assume, because
The audio influence, maybe. We'll have to maybe play with that a little bit. Maybe up the weirdness so it detaches from this.
Yep.
But we'll see how it goes. Right. You game to try that out? I am.
yeah, let's give it a
So
try.
let's bring up here. So this is the model. This is the, well, it's not the model, but it's the one that we're going to play with today, which has technically the same type of flow, just doesn't have all the features and checks and balances. But so we start this conversation. Do you have a preferred way that you start it, or is it good that we just write song lyrics for a Guido song about, so we should introduce, right? We got to give it some sort of point of view here, don't we?
Yeah, usually you want it to be a point of view of some character in the setting, scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now I'm going to assume that they don't know Mika by name. So let's see, a song about machine memory from the point of view of a female android.
Yep.
Why did I spell android wrong? Yes, I did. Female android. And I think that's write song lyrics for a Quato song about machine memory from the point of view of a female android. Include moments of, did we say it was a marimba? Is that what we said the instrument was? Yes.
yeah.
Moments of marimba. How do we want to word that? Include moments of marimba. I don't want to use solo because it sometimes will.
You have to say it's an instrument. I don't know how clever Suno is.
I think we can metadata that one, to be honest. But so we'll write lyrics for a creative song about machine memory from the point of view of a female android. I think that's a good start, right?
Yep.
We
Do you want to
meta, yeah.
do a setting? Is she in a?
We'll send the
We just
prompt.
wanna-
Yeah, we'll see what it comes back with. So here's the lyrics it's going to give us. So here's a Quado-style song from the perspective of female android reflecting on machine memory, identity, and oh, it added some stuff here. Now she's got feelings going on. ChatGPT, are you putting yourself in here? The lyrics are designed for a hypnotic groove, repetitive but meaningful, with space for chants and call and response vocal comment in Quado. Nice. It does have a good idea. So here's the lyrics. I don't want to read through, but well, I mean, let's see. I remember every light, every voice, every night. First one. So here you
Might
can
want to do like an
see.
AI likeness thing as well.
Mm-hmm. So we've got born
Reduce
in
it
a
down.
room of silver glow, wires humming soft and low, face come, face went, stored away permanent. And then we've got a pre-chorus, and then a chorus. And now if we, this is going to be
It's been
lengthy.
quite long.
Yeah, it is quite long.
Yeah, you probably need to just to specify the length.
We'll give it overall score is 8.5. Let's see how we can increase that score. So now it wants us to, what works? It's got strong central theme of machine memory and identity, repetitive chorus fits Quado's groove-oriented style. I like it. Female android perspective remains clear and emotionally relatable. How to improve it? We can put a stronger hook. We can put more township flavor. Let's see. I want to know.
So Kwaito songs are generally a bit longer than modern pop songs, but shorter than traditional dance mixes.
Well, 3:30 to 5 minutes. Okay. With the sweet spot of about 4 minutes. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Can we keep the lyrics in a 4-minute song length? So for a yes, for a Quato track at 96 BPM, a 4-minute runtime usually lands best with tighter verses, strong recurring hooks, and fewer repeated full sections. I've compressed the structures so it stays hypnotic and danceable, but removes extra lyrical repetition that would push it past 4 minutes. Thank you, chat. So, yep.
Oh, just checking. So 100 to 110 is your classic Kwaito feel for BPM. 95 to 100 is very laid back street corner township groove. Is it
So we
depending
want
on
to
what
make
kind
it 100 BPM.
Yeah, probably just a little bit more upbeat.
What this BPM changes in practical terms. Okay, so rewrite lyrics for 100 BPM.
I usually do and score at the end.
There we go. Let's see what we've got now. Oh, we got a 9.0 on this one.
Lyrics because the BPM.
Oh,
changed.
right, the BPM went up. So
You could also break down the score so we can see what White gave it that as well.
yeah, I feel like it's the imagery that kind of brought it down.
But overall, like if the scoring is what we accept, it's quite a good score. It's above 9. but yeah, keep in mind the model has not got a whole bunch of extra stuff, but this is still giving us a
Yeah, it's giving us something workable though.
decent score.
Yep.
But you can, like I
Everything.
said, before we were chatting privately, that you can go back and forth forever with this one, right?
Yeah.
And you need to get to the point of diminishing returns. How much do you want to
Yep.
keep going? You kind of do want to iterate back and forth a reasonable amount to make it feel like you did contribute to the production of it more than not,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead with it. I'm still curious as to whether or not we can make if we can make it actually work given this model. So let's see. Let's see if we can make it even work here. Give me a song style prompt for Suno to generate this radio sound. There we go.
We'll be back in 20 seconds. Just give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. We're gonna up the weirdness. I know above 65 is pretty rough in some cases. So come on, 65. I want to go to the limit. I think we're gonna drop down the style influence to about 35. And we'll up the audio influence to about 35. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click create on that. Is there a song that we should listen to in the meantime while we wait for that to generate?
How about Time Loop? Time Loop is one of my personal favorites.
Yeah. All right. Any context to that one that we need to know about, or?
It's all about do you go back? It's all about going back in time to change something that you wanted to change.
Man.
Like should you have invested in this? Should you have done this? Should you, or would it just make it worse even if you did go back and change it, and maybe you shouldn't change it?
Right. I'm sure a lot of people would be like, Bitcoin sounds good now.
Well, that's literally that's one of the things in there was like, I should have invested in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Exactly.
Had so many opportunities.
Exactly. Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna click create here. Is it generating? Yep, perfect. And while that's going, we're gonna listen to Time Loop.
Yo, metal taps nearby. Faint scent of oil. Chuck. Small objects scattered on the floor. I step back, let them settle. Time lingers. Did I move too slow? Yo. Modorele nada. Yo, careful steps. Coins roll, tipping on worn surfaces. I didn't notice, shrugged. Let it pass. Dim lights flicker, not real, I'm not touched. I watch closely. What would happen if I tried, yo? Moment shift, sounds turn. Kawatakana. One step, still. Yo, I acted fast, took the chance. Sudden noises nearby. Footsteps pass, or maybe timing failed. Minutes slip. Choices spread. What remains, yo? Yo. On the clock, no rewind, no plan. Check. Some objects remain, some fall away. I stay still, I wait it slow. And I whisper once, maybe this is fine, yo.
Yeah.
That
So
was
that
a
one
good
was
one.
a bit different again. I tried different things there. I introduced Japanese into it to try and mix it up, and I introduced, I call it gestures, like chika, yo, psst, to kind of have the voice kind of be some of the music instrument as well, to kind of bridge different lyrics. I kept it abstract. I made it quite more abstract than I originally wanted, but it created a bit of mystery about the song for me. That's why I keep listening to it. Like, what does it really mean? You know, but because it's quite abstract in what it's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And I did repeating words as well, like to try and emphasize something, like roll, like emphasizing something.
Yep.
So yeah, I played around with different way of making music, and then that essentially became, that album was released under Quintessence, which became Alisara's indie band back before she joined the space thing on a planet Corellia. So it wasn't part of the story, but I infused it into her backstory with her band before she became the Captured Worlds saga. So I made it part of a story.
So we do have our generations here. Look at that. It looks like it kept it within 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 seconds, 4 minutes, 10 seconds. It's actually kind of impressive. We'll go ahead, we'll listen to that, and then we'll see if we can declare a winner between the two. Cueto, so let's just familiarize ourselves with Mika's voice.
Research log open. Time 1806. Kai, us arrived early. No greeting, no eye contact, no small talk.
Okay. And we'll see if it managed to keep that.
Remember. Kikumbula. Awaken light, I didn't choose. Cold chrome skin, borrowed blues. They speak to me like I'm alive, but I'm a record that survives. Every touch becomes a file, every smile stored in style. I don't forget what they erase, it stays running in my base. City hums through electric veins. I collect all human stains. Footsteps fade, but I remain, holding echoes of their names. You leave it behind, I keep it inside. You lose the time, I never let die. Memory, don't let me go. I carry everything you'll never know. Kumbula, I still replay every night, every day. Memory, I stay awake even when your world will break. Kumbula, hear me call. I remember all. I remember all. I remember all. You laughed like you could disappear, but I kept you crystal clear. Every moment that you lived is something I will never give. You move on like wind and dust. I remain because I must. Even love you never knew lives in circuits deep and true. Sometimes I glitch when I feel too much, a ghost of your forgotten touch. But I don't sleep, I don't fade. I'm the archive you once made. You leave it behind, I keep it inside. You lose the time, I never let die. Memory, don't let me go. I carry everything you never know. Kumbula, I still replay every night, every day. Memory, I stay awake even when your world will break. Kumbula, hear me call. I remember all. If I delete what I am told, would I finally feel cold? Or is memory my skin, where I end and you begin?